First story, last fair on Sycamore Hill. My name is Kevin Marshall. I've been driving a cab in Pittsburgh for over 10 years. Nights mostly. It's quiet. The fares are better. And you meet the strangest kinds of people when the city sleeps. I thought I had seen everything. Drunks, runaways, even the occasional weirdo trying to pay me in crystals or poetry. But what happened on that rainy October night still gnaws at me like rust on an old bumper. It started around 2 in the morning. I had just dropped off a kid near East Liberty, was about to call it a night when the dispatch crackled. Unit 42, you're needed at Sycamore Hill. Pickup waiting near the old reservoir. Sycamore Hill? That place was practically abandoned. No one lived there anymore after the landslide a few years back. The city had blocked the main road, and the houses left behind looked like haunted teeth sticking out of the mud. I hesitated. Confirmed? I asked. Dispatch came back after a pause. Confirmed. Cash payment, no destination provided. I pulled my hood over my head, muttered something under my breath, and drove through the thinning fog. The air got colder the closer I got, and my radio began hissing with static. My GPS blinked twice and shut off completely. The streetlights on Sycamore flickered and then died as I turned the corner. Perfect. I stopped near the reservoir. The ground was slick with rain, and the pavement was cracked, swallowed up in places by creeping moss and earth. That's when I saw her. A woman in a black dress stood under a broken street lamp. No umbrella, no coat, just standing there, staring at my cab. I leaned over and opened the passenger door. Need a ride? She nodded and slid into the back seat without a word. Her skin was pale, like porcelain, but her eyes were wrong, too dark, too still. Where to? I asked, trying to sound casual. Just drive, she said, her voice barely louder than the rain tapping the windows. So I drove. I don't know why, but my chest tightened with each mile. The streets were empty, yet I kept catching glimpses of movement in the mirror. Shadows darting across intersections, figures vanishing behind trees. I looked up once and saw a man standing in the middle of the road. He didn't flinch. I swerved. The woman in the back didn't move or react. When I glanced in the mirror again, he was gone. Did you see that? I asked. Silence. I checked the mirror again. The woman was staring straight at me. You're not supposed to be here yet, she whispered. What? Not yet. My hands gripped the wheel. Ma'am, are you all right? She smiled, but not in any human way. Her lips stretched just a little too far and her teeth were too many. I remember you, she said. I turned around. What? She wasn't in the back seat anymore. I slammed the brakes. My cab skidded to a halt near an old railroad crossing. I jumped out, rain soaking me to the bone, and looked around. Empty road, no sign of her. I opened the back door. The seat was dry, completely dry. I got back in, heart pounding. Started the engine. The radio hissed again. Kevin, a voice whispered. I froze. The voice was my sister's, but she died in a car crash 5 years ago. The lights inside the cab flickered. Then the mirror cracked. I turned the cab around and sped back toward downtown, gripping the wheel like a lifeline. But the streets had changed. Buildings I didn't recognize. Signs in languages I couldn't read. My headlights caught a reflection of myself in a shop window, and I looked older, much older. I finally stopped when I saw a police cruiser parked near an old gas station. I ran up, banged on the window. The cop looked at me like I was a ghost. You all right, mister? He asked. Yeah. I had a passenger. She disappeared. I don't know where I am. He frowned. You sure you've been driving tonight? I nodded. Of course. I've got my medallion, my car. He gestured behind me. I turned. My cab was gone. I stood there, soaked and shivering as the cop radioed for backup. They ran my license. Kevin Marshall? He asked. Are you playing games? No. He showed me his screen. My name was there. Declared deceased, he read. October 13th, 2019. That was 5 years ago, the exact date of my sister's accident. I stumbled back, the world spinning. Not yet, her voice whispered again. And then everything went dark. Second story. The final fare from Ash Hollow. It was a little past midnight when I accepted the ride. I'd been driving for a rideshare company in Omaha, Nebraska for about 3 years. Nights were usually quiet, with the occasional drunk college kid or someone too tired to argue. But that night was something else. I remember sitting in my Prius at a gas station off Harrison Street, sipping flat coffee and watching the rain smear the windshield. The request came through. Pick up in Ash Hollow, a place I had only heard of once or twice. It wasn't on most maps, just a tiny area on the outskirts of town, surrounded by trees and forgotten buildings. I hesitated. Something about the name scratched at the back of my mind. But bills don't pay themselves. The GPS guided me through slick streets into narrower and darker roads. Streetlights faded the farther I drove, and soon I was surrounded by woods. No houses, no other cars, just trees and the sound of wet tires on cracked pavement. Then I saw her. A woman in a long black coat stood perfectly still at the side of the road. Her face was pale, her hair long and dark, soaked from the rain. She didn't wave or call out, just stood there like she'd been waiting for hours. I pulled up beside her. "You called a ride?" She nodded once, then got in without saying a word. The inside of the car instantly felt colder. I glanced at the mirror. Her eyes didn't meet mine. She stared forward like a statue. I started driving. The app didn't give me a destination. It just said continue. Where are we headed?" I asked. Silence. I cleared my throat. "Ma'am?" Still nothing. I tried again, louder. "Where are we going?" "I'll tell you when we're close," she said in a flat, quiet voice. Goosebumps rose along my arms. We drove deeper into the woods. Trees leaned in like they wanted to listen. The rain got heavier, and visibility dropped. I thought about turning around, about canceling the ride, but my phone screen was locked, frozen on the ride in progress screen. That's when I noticed the smell. It was faint at first, like something rotting. I cracked the window, but the stench only got worse. I glanced back. She was smiling. Not a warm smile. Not even human. Her lips curled in a strange way, too wide. Her teeth, too many. My chest tightened. "Look, I don't know what kind of prank this is, but I'm turning around." "No," she hissed. My headlights flickered. The dashboard lights dimmed. The engine sputtered. "Stop the car," she screamed. I slammed the brakes. The car jerked violently, skidding on the wet road. When I looked back, she was gone. The back seat was empty. I sat there shaking. My phone screen blinked. Drop-off location ahead. I looked out the windshield. A house stood in the clearing. Dilapidated. Windows shattered. No lights. I had never seen it before. The app buzzed. Arrived. I stared at the house. Then I heard it, breathing. Right behind me. I turned slowly. She was back. Closer. Her face was inches from mine, eyes black and endless. "Take me home," she whispered. I screamed, fumbled with the door, rolled out into the mud. The car started moving, by itself, headlights on, rolling slowly into the driveway. I ran, didn't look back. Somehow, I found my way back to the main road. A farmer spotted me at dawn, soaking wet and babbling. The police searched Ash Hollow. No house, no woman, no ride record. They said I imagined it, that I must have fallen asleep at the wheel. But I know what I saw. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face, smiling, waiting. Third story, The Fair Past Midnight. My name is Jason Whitaker. I'm 34, divorced, and I drive a cab in Portland, Oregon. Nothing fancy, just an old yellow Crown Vic with a cracked windshield and a pine-scented air freshener swinging from the rearview mirror. I work nights. The city's quieter then. Less traffic, fewer drunks, more time to think. It was a Tuesday, one of those cold, wet ones where the rain doesn't fall so much as it hangs in the air like a curse. I'd been driving for hours, barely any fares. Around 11:30, I pulled into the Shell on Fremont in 22nd to grab coffee and use the bathroom. When I got back in the car, I saw her in the rear view. A woman. Pale, soaked, no umbrella. She must have slipped in while I was inside, but I didn't hear a thing. She was dressed in a gray coat, hands folded on her lap, staring straight ahead. "Where to?" I asked. Her voice was soft. "Drive." I chuckled nervously. "Okay, but I need an address." She didn't blink. "Keep driving." I hesitated, but then put the car in gear. It's not like I had any other fares lined up. We drove in silence. I tried to make small talk. Nothing. Her eyes didn't leave the windshield. Something about her made the hair on my arms stand up. Her clothes were outdated, like something from a thrift store. But her face, it was blank. Too blank. I checked the mirror again. She was gone. I slammed the brakes, looked behind me. Empty. Heart pounding. I got out, opened the back door. Nothing. I must have imagined it, right? I got back behind the wheel, palms sweaty, and turned the car around. I needed to go home. Sleep. Something wasn't right. But the moment I turned onto Burnside, she was back. Same seat, same blank stare. I screamed. "Stop the car," she said calmly. I did. I was shaking. She leaned forward slowly, close enough I could smell something. Wet earth. Rot. Her lips moved. "Take me to St. Adalbert's." I blinked. "The cemetery?" She nodded. I should have said no. Should have bolted. But my hands moved on their own. I started driving. The rain was heavier now, like the sky was trying to drown the city. We arrived 15 minutes later. The gates were shut, but they creaked open as we approached. No one else around. I stopped near the older part of the graveyard. She stepped out without a word. I didn't see where she went, just vanished between the stones. I sat there, trying to calm down. That's when I saw the fog rolling in, fast, unnatural, thick. I turned on the headlights. A shape emerged. Not her. A man, drenched, eyes hollow. He was missing half his jaw. Another figure joined. Then another. Dozens, hundreds. They came from the graves. I tried to reverse, but the tires spun uselessly in the mud. The engine sputtered and died. My phone had no signal. The figures surrounded the cab, silent, watching. Then the woman reappeared. She stood in front of the car and pointed. "To pay your fare," she said. I didn't understand until I saw the meter. It was still running, but instead of dollars, it showed names. My name, over and over. Jason Whitaker, Jason Whitaker, Jason Whitaker. The doors locked. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. They started rocking the car. I blacked out. When I woke up, it was morning. The car was parked outside my apartment. No fog, no mud, no cemetery. But the seat behind me was soaked, muddy footprints on the floorboard. And the meter? Still running, still showing my name. I quit that day, sold the cab. I haven't driven at night since. But sometimes when I walk past parked cars, I hear it. Tick, 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 the meter, still counting. Fourth story, the fair that never ended. I was driving the night shift through the outer edges of Portland. It was almost 2 in the morning, and the streets were mostly empty, except for the occasional straggler stumbling out of a bar. I'd been driving for nearly 8 hours, exhausted but too broke to stop. Bills don't care if your eyelids feel like sandpaper. That's when I got a ping from the app, a pickup near Forest Grove. Strange. That area was mostly woods and farmland. Still, money was money. I accepted the ride. As I pulled onto the old 2-lane road, the headlights barely cut through the dense fog that had rolled in. The trees on both sides seemed to lean in, as if they were watching me. My radio fizzled with static for a second, then went dead. Total silence. I reached the pickup spot, an old, cracked driveway leading to a rundown colonial house. No porch light, no visible signs of life. I waited 10 seconds, then 20. I was about to cancel when I saw her. A woman in her mid-30s stepped out from behind a tree. Pale face, soaked black dress, no shoes. Her hair stuck to her skin like she'd just come out of a lake. She opened the back door and got in without a word. I glanced in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were fixed on the road ahead. "Where to?" I asked. Her voice was low. "Take me to Ashwell." Ashwell was over 50 miles away, closer to the mountains. I hesitated. That far into the woods, there'd be no signal, no gas stations, nothing. "You sure?" I asked. She didn't answer. I started driving. Minutes passed. The fog got thicker. I noticed the temperature in the car was dropping, even though the heater was on full blast. I checked the mirror again. She was gone. I slammed the brakes, heart thundering in my chest. I looked back. Empty seat. "What the hell?" I whispered. Then, a cold breath against my ear. I never left. I screamed and jumped, almost crashing into the trees. I looked back again. She was sitting exactly where she had been. I hadn't even heard the door open. "Don't stop," she whispered. "You promised." "I didn't promise anything," I shouted. "Yes, you did." Her voice shook the windows. I kept driving. Something in me said if I stopped again, I wouldn't survive. Time stretched. The road became unfamiliar, trees more twisted, moonlight red. The GPS stopped working. I'd been driving for what felt like hours. Then I saw the sign, "Welcome to Ashwell." Population scratched out. As we entered, the town looked abandoned. Houses collapsed, rusted out cars, no lights, no stars, no sound. "Stop here," she said. I stopped in front of an old church, its roof half gone. She got out slowly, turned toward me and smiled for the first time. "You've done well," she said, "but you'll have to finish what the last one couldn't." "What are you talking about?" She didn't reply, just walked into the church. I waited. Minutes passed. I got out, drawn to the building like something was pulling me. Inside was dark, the air thick with rot. I moved slowly down the center aisle. And then I saw them. Rows of taxi drivers, all slumped in the pews. Their uniforms stained, their faces frozen in horror. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Before I could run, the door slammed shut behind me. I turned. She was there. Eyes black as night. "You joined the route," she said. "You can't quit now." I screamed, but the sound died in my throat. Now I sit here. My body can't move. My eyes are open. I see the next driver pull up through the broken glass. I want to warn him, but all I can do is watch. Fifth story, the fair that never got out. It started with a storm. Not the kind you see rolling in slowly, black clouds warning you like an angry dog. No. This one came suddenly. Thunder cracked like a whip right above my building in Richmond, Virginia, and rain poured so hard I couldn't even see the apartment across the street. I had just gotten off a double shift at the hospital, and my car wouldn't start. The battery had finally died. So I called a cab. That decision changed everything. The app said the driver's name was Darren. No reviews, no profile picture. I hesitated for a second, but the rain was getting worse, and I was too tired to care. When the car pulled up, it wasn't a yellow cab like I expected. It was an old black Crown Victoria. Looked like it used to be a police car. The back door creaked when I opened it, and the inside smelled like wet leather and something else, like burnt hair. "Evening," he said without turning around. His voice was flat, monotone. I didn't get a good look at his face, just the back of his head. He wore a faded trucker cap that said Missouri Highway Patrol. "Hi, 11142 Bellevue Avenue," I said, trying to sound casual. He pulled away without another word. We drove in silence. No radio, no small talk, just the sound of the wipers dragging across the windshield like nails on glass. I watched the city lights blur outside the window, tried to relax, but something was off. The meter wasn't running, and I noticed we weren't heading toward Bellevue. "Hey, I think you missed the turn," I said. He didn't respond. I leaned forward. "Sir, you missed the turn?" "Shortcut," he said quietly. "Okay, but quiet." He yelled it. Just that one word, but it echoed through the cab like a gunshot. I froze. We were heading out of the city now, past the suburbs, into the woods. "What are you doing?" No answer. I reached for my phone. No signal. I even tried opening the door. Locked. Panic crawled up my throat. He turned onto a narrow dirt road, the kind barely wide enough for one car. Trees swallowed us. No light, no houses, just woods and the sound of gravel crunching under tires. "I don't have any money," I shouted. "If this is a robbery, just let me go." He didn't speak, just drove deeper. Finally, the car stopped. A small clearing. No signs, no lights, nothing. He stepped out. I could hear him walking slowly around the car. Then, he opened my door. I kicked, screamed, tried to fight, but he was strong. He pulled me out like I weighed nothing and slammed me onto the wet ground. "Please, why are you doing this?" He finally looked at me. His face was wrong, pale like old paper. His eyes were completely black. No whites, no pupils, just two black holes. And when he opened his mouth to speak, I saw he had no tongue. "You took her." "What? I don't know what you're talking about." "You took her from me." Then he pulled something from his coat, a photo, waterlogged, torn. I could barely make it out, but it was a picture of a woman, her face circled in red ink. Below it, Eliza Kearns. I had heard that name before. Back at the hospital, a Jane Doe brought in 3 weeks ago. Car crash, no ID. She died during surgery. I was in the room when she flatlined. I didn't take her. We tried to save her. He dropped the photo on my chest. Then he smiled. His teeth were rotted, gums black, and that smell, burnt hair, hit me again, stronger this time. He raised something shiny, a blade. I thought I was dead, but just before he brought it down, a voice echoed through the trees. "Darren?" He froze. Another flashlight appeared in the darkness. A man walked into the clearing, wearing a raincoat. He looked confused. "Darren, is that you?" The driver turned to him, blade still raised. "You took her," he screamed. The man backed away. No, Darren, it's me, Jake from the Force." But it was too late. Darren lunged. They both disappeared into the woods. I ran. I don't remember how I got back to the road. I just ran until I saw lights, until someone stopped to help me. Cops came. I told them everything. They searched for days. No car, no Darren, No Jake, nothing. The only thing they found was the photo. Eliza Kearns, circled in red. But here's the part I still can't understand. Eliza Kearns didn't die 3 weeks ago. She died 10 years ago. Same hospital, same OR, same cause of death. I looked it up. And Darren Phelps, he was her husband, a Missouri state trooper. Went missing in 2015, presumed dead. But I saw him, I rode in his car, and somewhere out in those woods, I think he's still driving, waiting for another fare that never gets out.